episode of Sipping Positivity. And I am your host, Host Positively, Suzanne. I'm always excited to be here, be in front of the camera, speaking to you all. So thank you to all my loyal subscribers and viewers. I really appreciate you showing up week after week. Thank you for the likes, the comments, the emails, and everything that you do to make sure that we stay on air and come to you. You know, it's my mission to bring you fabulous people, share their story and their journey so that you are inspired, motivated, and empowered. This week, I have with me in the studio the fantastic Mr. Geoff Killebrew. How are you, G Bizzle? Was it G Bizzle?
GK Bizzle. Yes, a friend of mine gave me that moniker, if you will, back in high school when I first made my Instagram account.
To the show.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity and to be in front of your audience.
All right.
It's wonderful.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. For those of you who are interested in being a guest or recommending a guest, please make sure that you can reach out to me at Suzanne at PositivelySuzanne.com. We are with you live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. and at 12 noon. I don't know why I said 5 before I said 12, but it's all right. It is what it is. I do want to thank Paul Anderson, our executive producer, week after week. And he's also our official photographer for those fabulous pictures that you see that shows up after. I also want to give a special shout out to my guest from last week, Miss Angel Marie, for these lovely, lovely shoes. As you notice, they are stilettos with sparkles. So Miss Angel Marie, thank you very much for the fantastic gift. You know, a way to a girl's heart. It is beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't wait. So thank you. I feel like I'm Vanna White. Take a look. All right. All right. Well, I'm excited to talk to Geoff because I've known him for quite a few years from church and just so many different things that you have done in the community, from Fam Jam to Eden Slimes Sundays. Okay,
Yes.
which wasn't Sunday. It was Slime Sundays, and then you had the Eden Trucks.
Yes.
Yes, you had that.
Yes.
So there's so many things, and you know, one of the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur, right? You're always evolving, you're always creative, you're always doing different things. So I love that for you. Today we're mainly going to talk about the Renaissance Fair and what that is.
Yes.
And I'm just so excited. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's been a journey, as you know, getting here and in your own entrepreneurial pursuits as a community organizer, community leader, so we're constantly evolving, but there's still a focus, and that's always on empowering those around us. You know, as we learned coming up in church how to be a servant. You know, and so through all that I'm doing, you know, my purpose is to be a servant. You know what I mean? So through whether it be music and arts, culture, this whole thing now that we have going on with this Renaissance Fair, which is a part of an overall project called the Worcester Renaissance Project, inspired by the Harlem Renaissance.
All right. Well, welcome. Well, before we get to that, I want to mention, so I did know you in church and you played the drums and basically any instrument you could get your hands on. And I was in the choir and we ain't going to talk about that. I had a beautiful melodious voice. Listen, Geoff.
Make a joyful noise. Just make it.
I'm not talking to you. It's too late. He's already on the show, but y'all know how I sing. It's all right. But anyway, but you did such a wonderful job of blending so many melodious voices together. And, you know, we were pleased with the outcome.
Yes.
I don't know if you were, but
well, they say I'm kind of.
It was so fun.
Yeah, I'm a perfectionist or whatever, but you know,
You are.
You work with everybody, you know, if you can, you know, as they're willing. You know?
No, you are. I will say that I'm grateful because again, not all of us were so vocally inclined, but you didn't treat anybody any differently. No. I think you really tried to pull out the best out of everyone and just really created this group that even though like you weren't not necessarily the best singer, but you still felt like a part of the group. And that's pretty hard to do because I think a lot of times choir directors have this reputation, right? It's just like they want the best. And if you are not the best, then you're out. So thank you. And I appreciate that because, you know, I had a choir experience and, you know, I know that was largely in part of you really trying to pull things out of us that we know we had. Glory to
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
All right. So before we get to the Renaissance, you have done a couple of things. So are those things in the past or are those things continuing? Because, there's things that for me personally as an entrepreneur, you mentioned the entrepreneurial journey that we start. And then sometimes, other things are birthed from it and we grow and we evolve and we leave that behind. Or those things still going to be continued. So Fam Jam,
Yes.
is that something that, we've evolved from or is it still something that we're going to do?
Well, here's the thing, as you may know, like as life is constantly evolving,
Mm-hmm.
Fam Jam Event Group, which is a nonprofit organization, is a culmination of who I am. It's a life's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's my presentation of all my gifts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just inspiring other people to prepare their gift to share too. You know what I mean? So everything from being a musician,
Mm-hmm.
starting on drums, then going
Mm-hmm.
on to organ, being self-taught, then moving into directing choirs, then organizing that. It was a platform for me to learn how to organize. You know what I mean? Even at that, what may not have seemed at the time to you know propel me to where I am now. It's the organizing of and bringing people
Mm-hmm.
together. And Fam Jam Event Group now as a nonprofit organization, we have a mission statement. As you may know, when you create a business, even a business, whether it's a non for profit or nonprofit, you have to have a mission statement that guides you because that's what keeps you on point. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Whereas before, being what I'll call a Renaissance man, it's also synonymous with being a jack of all trades and a master.
As done. Yeah, that's
well,
right.
well,
Just do as it comes.
yeah,
Just do as it
and you
comes.
get
Yeah.
good at it. The more you practice at it, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because if it's a natural gift, you're going to keep working on that gift and working on that desire, that passion, till you become great at it. You know what I mean? And so, I have many skills
Mm.
that I work on at different points. Like you said, when it comes, I can do this. Thanks to my parents, you know, who brought me up to try different things. Um, my mother being a creative, very creative person, a very creative person, passionate person. When it comes to the arts, drawing, singing,
Mm.
dancing, working with people. My father being a person who was more hands-on, in many ways. Uh,
Mm.
uh, learning how to build things. You know what I mean. Also being a community leader. So I can build, I can fix. I'm very handy, but I'm also very passionate about the arts. So I use all those things and recognize those gifts and talents in other people too, and try to encourage them where they are, recognize what they can contribute to society. You know what I
Mm.
mean. Through what's naturally given to them.
Mm.
So that's part of also this Renaissance project is to encourage other folks to go after their passions, pursue them in a way that potentially they can make a business out of it.
All right, that's wonderful. I think you've always been inclined to pull things out of, people. And as you said, the jack of all trade, master of none. But I don't think that's true enough because you definitely have mastered quite a few of them. But I think just the ability to be flexible, the willingness, I should say, to want to do everything and not finding anything above you or beneath you, something like that. I'm not even going to attempt that because it's too hard, or like, nah, that's beneath me. So just having that humility, I say, to kind of just say, I'm just going to do it. And if I can, great. And if I can't, can I find someone? And I think that ability to pull things out of people. And I love that because, that is really, truly what my brand is centered around. I always say, like, my job is to help others find their light and you help them pull out their talents, like certain skills that like may have lain dormant and,
Mhm.
they didn't know about. So thank you for that. So now, how did the Renaissance Fair get birthed? With all of these things that you're doing, like when did you have this idea? Because this is a master undertaking. It's a huge undertaking, but
Mhm.
you are equipped for that. We were placed on this earth for such a
For
time as
purpose.
this,
Yeah,
right? And
right.
God did not give us the vision without provision. So how did you first have that dream? And then what was the first thing you did? Or did you say, like, man, that's crazy?
Uh, well, so it's been a process, like I said, evolving. And so what happened was, when I became a single parent with my first daughter,
Mhm.
I decided and I knew based on a previous experience that if you want to have the time to spend with your kids and that sort of thing, if you want a financial independence, you have to become an entrepreneur. And but at the same time, I wanted to be able to center that around my daughter, so I can maximize on the opportunity to spend the time with her and show her that she can, be creative. So I started. I came up with a business idea with her. It was at the height of just before the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
where slime
Mm-hmm.
was
Huge.
yes,
Ah,
slime was everywhere.
yes, yes, it was. Many, many slimes on my carpet, on my couch. Look,
Right.
just go on.
She started asking for my phone, showing me of these pictures and videos of kids with slime. I'm like, what is this slime thing? And when actually took a moment to look at it, I saw a post with hundreds of thousands and millions of views of kids who are making slime, and I'm like, you know what? If these little girls can make slime, and make a business out of it,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe that's something we can do too.
Mm-hmm.
So also me being from the South, grew up fixing things, working on cars, that sort of thing. I always wanted to have a Power Wheels when I was a kid. So when she was old enough, I bought her a Barbie Escalade,
Ah,
strapped
she
it to the
was
roof.
balling. She
Yes,
was balling. I did see that. Yes.
strapped it to the roof of my Maxima, and picked her up from daycare. And I think that would be, at least for me, a memory that I'll never forget. And I hope it would be for her too. But at one night when she was, I bought her the ingredients. She was making the slime, and I was looking up how to customize because it was a used Power Wheels. How can I customize it? So she brought me over two bowls, and she called it. She said, "Dad, look at this." I said, "What is it?" She called it a slime smoothie. And I said, okay, it was a smoothie, huh? But when I think of smoothie, I think of kale. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
But I said, well, what about a slime sundae, sweetheart? Like, because everybody likes a sundae. And
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll go with that." So I one of my first opportunities to be an entrepreneur with this idea came from the Juneteenth festival.
Mm.
And thank you for the organizers of that event.
Shout out to
Um,
Carly Jones, Shaisha Medine, and everyone
the
from the village,
NAACP, yeah.
Lori, all of y'all for Juneteenth. I can't wait for this year's, but yeah.
And so from my experience of recognizing your sphere of influence, I recognized that okay, that I'd be a vendor there, and I went on to do a bunch of other events, and I was constantly a vendor. But then I also noticed that food trucks were vendors too, and in my looking for more opportunities, I noticed that there was a food truck at Elm Park. And I'm like, man, there's only that one truck there all the time. If he's a food truck, he must be a vendor there. How did he get that opportunity to be a vendor? So I forget exactly how I found out, but I went down to the parks department, and that's where I pitched my idea and request to be a vendor at the park. And it was an open door with that I'm thankful for it, for how it started. But then along the way, I started to notice some things that were going on behind the scenes that made me question what's the real deal here? Why has there only been for all this time this one guy in the park? And then I started to come across some what I felt was discriminatory practices
Mm.
of the parks department. And throughout that process, I just saw that this could be an amazing opportunity for other people to get their business started if they were to reduce some of the red tape,
Mm-hmm.
and promote this as an opportunity across the city for people to start a business as a street vendor or a performer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll start there for a performer aspect for a second. Going back to the fact that I'm a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I had applied to the after while I was at Quincy, applied to the Berkeley College of Music,
Mm-hmm.
and was accepted three times, which is a hard to do just one time.
Mm.
But I could never get the funding, the money to go. And one day, and I was just kind of sitting down and frustrated outside of Quincy, like, I can't transition from here. If I ever have the opportunity to help another young person to get to where they're going, I would start a scholarship or something like that. And it was another seed planted, another uh, situation that kind of propelled me forward. So anyway, while I'm at the park, I was allowed to have the slime out there initially. And I had said, well, hey, I really want to have these cars out here because I customized the car. I
Mm-hmm.
gave it a paint job, stereo system, made it go
Mm-hmm.
twice as fast, deep dish chrome wheels, LED headlights, underglow lights that flash rainbow colors.
They were tricked out.
Yeah,
They were tricked out.
yes.
Yes.
So she was booming her car around the park, and I realized that people would be willing to pay for rides in the car too. So I said, if I could have it out there every day, I know that the kids would really like it. But I was told, okay, you can have one day. Like, all right, well, fine. I got to figure out how to make that one day great. And at the time I was teaching music privately, so I figured, if I have my daughter out there with her slime making, where I was told that people consider it art, and a make and take activity. If I have her out there and I have my students, if even if it was just us, it would be an art and music festival. But then I take that platform to try to open up the entire park, because Elm Park is a large park. You know, that I'll try to put up as many people on as possible.
Absolutely.
So from there, I also going back to Quincy again. I was taking a class from Professor Jose Castillo, who's a master bass player. He graduated from Berkeley actually. And throughout his one of the courses, he had us to do study on jazz history and do a report on that. And I chose Duke Ellington, and Duke Ellington was my entry to the Harlem Renaissance. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I was studying African American history under Professor Lamont Slater, who recognized my passion for African American history. And he said, why don't you start a Black Student Union, which had been not in operation for at least 20 years, since the 80s. So I started that organization there. And when folks say "Make America Great Again," I looked back. When was it great for Black people in America? And I when I look back at the photos, the black and white photos of men who are dressed in suits like all the time, women who are always adorned, the children the same way. Pre-segregation, when our communities had strong
Because all we had was each other.
right, and we're excited about the emancipation now, having our own communities, banks, professionals, doctors, schools. Before things like Black Wall Street were torn down, and our communities were in some places put underwater to stop our progress. You know, in my study of that, I came across this story called Mark 126th Street, where vendors were able to do well. That was just after the Harlem Renaissance. And this is in Harlem, in New York. The gentrification happened to that area, and the vendors were kicked off to the street, and they were put in a hole in the wall called Mark 126. And it was run the location was run by a slumlord basically, and they were kicked out again. They lost the opportunity. So I just looked at made the lowest common denominators between what happened in actually the Italian Renaissance, because you can't talk about Renaissance without acknowledging the figurehead of the initial European Renaissance. Looked at the lowest common denominators between what happened then in Harlem and how they said that Worcester is going through a Renaissance. Okay, but the Renaissance that's happening here is more benefiting the developers who will come here, gentrifying our city, than cashing out, where it's not benefiting the underclass as much. So all these things that I'm noticing and putting together to create this project that would empower the BIPOC community, if you will. One of the frameworks for this is using redlining, the historic practice of redlining. And when you understand what that is, for those of you who may not know some of these terms, redlining was the process of segregating communities where realtors will tell Black folks, "Oh, they don't want you over here. This is where you should be," or white folks, "This is a better area for you." And then for banks to either not give loans or give predatory loans to people of color. You know what I mean? So now that's why we see schools that are underfunded. We see certain communities in our city who don't get the same financial support in repairing of the roads and that sort of thing. So I started looking up redlining, and I found maps in other places in America, but I could not find one for the longest time here in Worcester. And last year, finally, Clark University and the Worcester Research Bureau put out a never before seen map of the red lines here in Worcester. So what we say like Canterbury Street in the Cambridge Street area that was in that red line district, Beaverbrook,
Mm-hmm.
that side, and some parts of Kelly Square, where we did have strong black communities at one point before the Highway 290 was
Mm-hmm.
put through it.
Right
You
there
know
in the
what I
middle.
mean? So anyway, looking at all these contributing factors of what a potential renaissance could be if we were to promote Worcester as a place for people of color to start businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Another facet of a renaissance is looking at the patrons of the arts, people who are of affluence, or the bourgeoisie or the bougie folks that recognize the contributions of the underclass, and they would fund them, whether it be through arts and entrepreneurship. One of my inspirations was in studying what happened in Harlem. I came across a guy named William Harmon,
Mm-hmm.
who was a real estate mogul, and he would host events that supported artists and entrepreneurs, and that's where I got my mission statement from,
Mm-hmm.
and for my nonprofit organization. So basically, not reinventing the wheel, but just reverse engineering it
Mm-hmm.
and packaging it in a way that we could have that happen here. Now, whereas before you had to have the affluence to begin with, now with the civil liberties that our ancestors fought for, um, we can have a nonprofit organization. We're able to raise funds, get grants, get scholarships in order to redistribute wealth, through hosting these events,
Mm-hmm.
through contests, through scholarships, that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And that's what we're looking to do through this series of events that will serve as an incubator for the BIPOC community, who are artists of all sorts, entrepreneurs of all sorts, including family services that provide niche services that people may not know exist, but because they're smaller, it could be the very thing that people need. So,
Mm-hmm.
this is a platform that I'm trying to create to bring the community together, to celebrate their gifts, their talents, and help them to get to the next step.
Oh, that's wonderful. I know. I mean, I'll give you a second to drink your tea because I know that, that's one of the issues with this show. Like, we get so caught up in talking, you guys don't get an opportunity to drink your tea, but there's a little gold spoon
Thank
there.
you
You
so
have your
much.
sugar, you have your honey,
Yes, needed.
do all that. But yeah, no, I mean, there's so much things that you said in that. And, I'm so grateful that you not only had the vision, but then, you have this heart to serve the community because, as you encounter these obstacles and you've been very vocal about the challenges that you have faced when trying to get something done. And I think a lot of times, like when we go through something and we struggle, well, I won't say we, because some folks, then they're like, well, like I went through it, let other people go through it. It's the same people that don't want you to forgive student loans, right? They're like, well, we went through this, let them experience, what it's like. We paid off our loan, let them pay it off. But you see the challenge and the obstacles, you've been very vocal in trying to fix it so that the next person after you who has an idea to do something like this does not go through the same challenges. So you've been very vocal to that. What has that process been like for you, fighting? You're saying I need a whole nother show for that?
What?
Sip your tea, sip your tea. I'll give you gather your strength. So, but you've been vocal with it. But you know what? I do admire that your perseverance, that you're continuing to, fight and advocate. And like, and some of the things, and I think a lot of times, processes that are in place have been in place for so long. Because, you talk about red line. And I remember, when I was getting my mortgage lender's license, it's one of the things that we talk about because it's illegal, right? But it happened, and there are still things, this like communities that were redline, and they haven't recovered from it. They're still, even though redline is now illegal, right? I mean, something can be illegal, but doesn't mean that it's not practiced, right? We know this. This is life. So there are communities that are still suffering, because of it. And even though it's not said out loud, there are certain communities that certain folks will not buy homes in. So here you are, you're really trying to get to these homes where people that look like me and you, live in, and you're really trying to get to this community, entrepreneurs and, that are looking to build and go out. So what is it that's pushing you, like after you hit these challenges, to be very vocal and then to try to advocate it, to change it for the next person after you? What is that drive and the reason?
The drive and the reason is so I'll start with the drive as thank God for my parents, and my father, who encouraged me to, not to be fearless, not to
Mm.
be scared about, certain things, and mother, both, encouraging to, pursue wisdom, you know, and because I know what it's like to be that talented kid. I know it's, or the entrepreneur that have a desire to accomplish something, but see come across these challenges. So, we see red line communities, like I said, across the country. It's not just here.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was never something that was overt to begin with.
Mm.
It was more of a, you know, well,
The nod.
yeah, yeah,
The nod.
yeah, and backdoor deals, that sort of thing. And so like even down where my father lives now in Mississippi, the Mississippi is described sometimes as one of the most challenged areas for people of color. Even though in the South
It's
we're
supposed to be like our home, right?
right, right,
Yeah.
right. But some of those areas still look like 1950. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But still, regardless, there are resilient people in these areas who have gifts and talents, who are creative, who have a passion for better. And so because of those other the other people, I will continue to pick up the mantle of and understanding where the efforts of our ancestors and what they went through in order to get us to where we are. It would be absolutely a slap in the face and disrespectful to us not to recognize what they went through
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to have our civil rights, our civil liberties, or the technology that we've had that a lot of us don't get the credit for. So how many more people exist now that if they had the support and the encouragement to continue to go after
Mm-hmm.
what it is that God put in you, your
Mm-hmm.
purpose, to pursue your purpose, because we all have something to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Whether whether you're the hand or the foot or the leg, or what I'm saying. Like everybody has something, a difference that is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you tell me what I can't do. Listen, uh, I'm still trying to build relationships. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So when it comes to and we're just getting started. The Italian Renaissance lasted for about 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Harlem Renaissance lasted for about 30 years. So I don't anticipate that it will happen overnight.
You shouldn't.
However,
Yeah.
I am persistent because I know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm talking about, and
Mm.
I know who's who in positions of leadership or power,
Mm-hmm.
that have the ability to make these decisions for change. So, what's up? I've been as diplomatic as I can in presenting these ideas. And now I've received not only support from the community, but here in Worcester, when I proposed this project to City Council, I got unanimous 10 yays, 0 nays, unanimous support, and went to a subcommittee that oversees the Parks Department, because the Parks Department oversees vending and street performing or busking in
Mm-hmm.
the city. Again, received unanimous support, and now that subcommittee petitioned on my behalf that the city manager have a conversation with me, where the conversations in the past have been behind closed doors, and so I've decided, I'll try a different route,
Mm-hmm.
so that other people are aware of what's happening, and the potential of what I'm suggesting, um, and not just for here. We just want to show proof of concept here in Worcester, but then it was wash, rinse, and repeat in these other communities that have these entrepreneurs, these artists. And I found that one of the lowest bars in order to get yourself started is to be out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where tourists can come and check out what you have to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're like a vendor or a performer, one of the best reasons to be out a street vendor or performer is that you don't have the overhead of a brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not you want to stay there as a vendor or not, you can hopefully be a platform to launch you to where your other
Mm-hmm.
to the next level. I mean, you can start an online business, that sort of thing. But one thing that will not change from civilization to the next is our desire and our need to connect in person and do business
Mm.
in person. People love to come down and feel and touch.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on. I know as a lady, sometimes it's hard to buy things online. You'd rather go and then try it out, look at it in the mirror, and make sure that it fits before it comes in Amazon or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what is this? Is not what I ordered.
No. No, I mean, I was a retail leader for over 20 years. So the concept of brick and mortar, like it was churros, and then online shopping, just really kind of took over.
Mm.
But I think like after the pandemic and we were isolated, and we really only had online shopping at that time because folks were fearful of going out. But what I'm seeing is a resurgence, right? Folks are now going back to brick and mortar. That's why, there's pop-ups and, things like that, like all these things, because folks want that human connection. Because, after the pandemic, I think maybe 2.5 to 3 years,
Mm.
we were, like not outside as much as we wanted to.
PTSD.
Yeah, yeah. So the folks just want to be out, like we outside.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah.
It is. So yeah, no, I think we definitely I love the touch, the feel, the try on. And you're right. Like sometimes things don't look as good as, it looks on picture. And you're like, what?
Mm-mm.
Like my challenge is a lot of time they're like, it fits you. And then I'm like, and so I'm tall. So a lot of times they assume that tall is what they call it, like 5'7", 5'8", 5'10". So it's just like, it just doesn't work for me
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
above that.
yeah,
But yeah,
right,
but
yeah.
no, I do love touch fee. I mean, I may shop a little too much,
Hmm.
but
You blessed, blessed.
I'm not going to talk about that. But anyway, so no, thank you for sharing all that. And, thank you for the passion and, for being not only vocal. And you're right. I think, as we are trying to do things, we have to be diplomatic. We have to speak truth to power. Well, we also have to be very diplomatic because, again, it's just like, I think sometimes I approach it with like, maybe they don't know. And then once they do know, then what are they going to do about it? So then the conversation could shift. But I always approach it like, okay, if you don't know, let me educate you. And then you find out, is it really a lack of not knowing? Or it's like, no, we're not going to have this. And then, it's a whole different direction and all that. But I think it's important to always say, like, approach it with an open mind and says, okay, this is a challenge I'm facing. You're in a position to change this. How are you going to change this? And, we do have to have open conversation. And I think sometimes just being transparent, like just it's so huge and it's important because then there's no misunderstandings, there's no backhanded deals and things like that. So thank you for paving the way with busking. I've certainly learned a lot about that, like just from watching your page. And you're always at the city council, like talking and speaking up and always just advocating not only for your current project but for your future projects and for future projects of other individuals, entrepreneurs, performers, and all of that. So the Renaissance Fair, the first part, is this weekend
Yes,
in Worcester. Let's
yes.
talk about that. So, the time, what's going to be happening, with the location, and all that.
Okay, and just to go back for a second is I want to bring up the idea of creative collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we want these collaborative conversations
Mm-hmm.
because back in 2019 when I first started the Fam Jam Festival, Family Arts and Music Festival, my theme was everything is art because I realized that there's an art to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you go to apply for certain college courses, they have an art of science, art of medicine, art of this and this and that. So if you look at your challenges through a creative lens, and that's what I want to encourage people to do, it's like how can you? Don't tell me how it can't work. Art, it starts with are you willing?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to, then we can have a creative collaboration, a conversation about how to make it work. So that's what I'm trying to do with the city. And through this event that's coming up on Saturday, encouraging people to think outside of the box of how they could potentially collaborate. Even if it's their first time, maybe you could have to come out on your own. But I encourage folks to think outside of the box. Now, the the event is part of a series, and I forget if I mentioned this before, that will serve as an incubator. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate goal is to get a contract with the city that will allow us to designate spaces in high foot traffic areas of the city with a wayfinder marker that will have a QR code. The QR code will go to a website. The website will have a map of the other locations and schedules of where vendors and performers will be so that tourists and locals can find out where these folks will be, you know what I mean, and support them. And so on Saturday, the Worcester Renaissance Fair will be at um,
Temp Park.
Elm Park Community School. I was trying to think of the address, but the address is on the corner of North Ashland and John Street in Worcester. Um, on One of the dope things about this is that the school has two levels. It has two floors that we'll be using. The first floor, which they call the map floor, it has literally a map on the floor. Will be where
Mm-hmm.
vendors are. Okay, there's a classroom off to the side where we'll be having a workshop for the rules and regulations around becoming a street vendor or performer here in the city. By the way, the bid process started late this year, second year in a row. The season to be a vendor started April 1st, but it just went live on the 16th. And so now, in order to be a vendor in the city, you have to bid, and they only allow one vendor at a time in the city parks. So the bid is actually due on this coming Monday on the 29th. So I'm just throwing it out there, just a little information. But a classroom there on the first floor, and on the second floor they have a cafetorium where on one side they have lunch tables where we have a food vendor. Shout out to Nemesco. They're going to be in the building providing food. So some of the dopest
Food is good.
is good. Yo, I quit saying for the that
Listen, the alumni brunch.
yes.
Listen, my girl Natasha, though, Don, I've been
Yes,
with
Nataki, thank you so much.
for
Yes,
so long.
and Julius.
Julius from Nemesco, and I know that they hired another chef, and I don't remember her name. But she's she does focus a lot on the African menu items, and just oh my goodness, the food there is just outstanding.
So they're going to be on the right side with the lunch table, so you can go and check out and patronize their business. And on the left hand side, they have auditorium seating with a small stage where we have a variety of performers. So that's coming up this Saturday. From 12 to 6. The event starts at 12, and it will actually end around 5. We all have to be out of the building by 6. Just throwing it out there because I was reminded.
Don't be showing up at 5:30.
No, and tomorrow is the deadline. Well, it was initially on Monday.
You extended it. I was going to ask about that. Yes,
because I'm really trying to give as many people an opportunity to participate as possible. You do have to follow the process, though. We want you to fill out the application. And another thing is because of all my heart for the youth, and because of a lot of the street violence has happened this year, and just in general, even since COVID, this has been my idea to do some sort of memorial. We'll be hosting or having a prayer at 9 a.m. at the school. So we're looking for anybody, if you just care about the community. Like I said before, in my recent promo video, no big eyes, no little U's. Just want you to come together to pray for the youth in our city at 9 o'clock. The event starts at 12.
Okay. I said starts at 12. There's a prayer at 9. It starts at 12. And then can you break down what's happening? Is it just like the Renaissance Fair is all day, which is 12 to 5, but is there certain parts from 12 to 1 this is happening, from 1 to 2? Yeah. Or you gotta come to find out.
No. I'll put it out there because people want to know sometimes. Who all gonna be over there? What's going on?
Okay. No, I have a couple of events that day, so I'm trying to.
Yeah. No, time it out. No worries.
Time it out.
Yeah. No worries. And I encourage folks to find out what's going on in the city, and because nobody stays at an event all day anyway.
I can't.
Just go around to check out what's happening in the city. But over here at Fam Jam, and the Renaissance Fair, we'll be at Elm Park Community School. There's a workshop from 12 to 1. All right. Outside of that, you're welcome to come and check out. We have a few youth vendors. Yes, because K through 12. We have and adults. Excuse me. The vendor fee for youth is $40. The fee for adults is $100. But I have a discount available if you participate in the promotion. Putting up sharing our information on social media, because we all want a crowd. We all want be with our friends and the family and be supported, whether you're a performer or whether you're a vendor. So the vendors will be there the entire time. On the top floor, we have performers lined up. We'll schedule them, throughout the day. But I'm also going to do something a little bit different, based on what I did at Elm Park. To have a little open mic. So in between the featured perform. Speaking of feature, I have to mention Lil Rennie.
Miss Serenity.
Yes. Oh my God. Listen, I'm so thankful that she chose to make herself available for this event. We recently had a write up in Worcester magazine.
Yes.
And the writer asked me who they could speak to and I gave her her name, Thank you, Serenity, for your words. It was so like I forgot how long I've actually known her.
Really?
She was with me and Eden when we were starting our
Yes,
little
I
slide
heard
thing.
that.
She went with us to school at Holden Chapel. I think it was the end of the year thing they had. Um, and also, I tried to get a gig at DCU building.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to be inside DCU for the Pirates when they had a game going on. And they were both driving the cars around, selling the slime, and Serenity was able to do her thing too. Lil Rennie will be the face of the Renaissance. Yo, how crazy is that?
Like, listen, you know what's funny? It's just like, it's so amazing to see these people that you knew and that they evolve into these personalities and these just amazing individuals, like Serenity, Little Rennie, two people but the same, right? It's like the poet laureate of Worcester, FYI, Little Rennie, like Little Rennie, the rapper, like it's like it's the same person. Actually, it was just. Where was I this morning? I saw something she did. It was on social media. She was reading a poem from. And I think maybe it's the Worcester Cultural Coalition that shared it. She was at the Botanical Garden. She was like reading a poem, and I'm like, this girl is so talented. I know her aunt. She's so proud of her. But no, congratulations, little Rennie, Serenity Jackson, who is going to be the face of the Renaissance.
Yes.
Love it.
Oh my God. I mean, that's how God works. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes with creativity and opening doors and things like that, where a challenge may come up, if just things kind of align in a certain way, despite the challenges that you have to go through, and even for Serenity herself and having the things that she's gone through to bring her to where she is now.
Yeah.
But going back to the performers, in the midst of all that, the DJ will be keeping some music going, but I'm going to open it up for people, because you never know who's in the room. Be it from church sometimes, you ever see like do the mic toss?
Yes.
Come up and do a solo.
Yeah.
Me now? Yes, you.
Something.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Oh my goodness, I forgot her name. She was when we went to SeaTac. She was there. This tiny little first lady. I can't remember her name, and I'm blanking. And her husband was a pastor. Oh my goodness, she had two kids that were actually very involved. And I remember like they asked her to sing, and she's like, "Oh, I'm overcoming the cold or something." And when this woman opened up her mouth, was like, girl, I didn't hear you if you weren't sick. It was just incredible. And I'm it's not book, it's not sister book, I'm not messing up. I can't remember her name, and I'm not even gonna try and remember, but yeah, like you're right, you never know who's in the crowd, and sometimes somebody you don't even know, and they open their mouth, and it's just this whole thing.
But that's, you probably have uncles, aunties, cousins. Like, yo, you got to see this person dance. You got to see this person. Well, where are they at? Well, here's a platform for them to do it. I'll tell you, coming up as a musician, my father constantly pushed me. We go to church service sometimes that I've never been to. He's like, ask me if you can play. I'm like, come on, Dad. But it wasn't a question. It was
I have a black father, trust me. I know.
So here I go walking down the aisle. My dad told me to ask if I could play. But then I get on, and he knows that I'll shut it down.
Once they hear you play, they'll be like, yes.
Turn their heads.
Yes.
He did this at a circus once. When Barnum and Bailey came to when I was a kid down in Georgia.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Go ask me if you can play. So during the intermission, we went down to the band pit.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, my dad told me this is Mark. So like I said, you never know who's in the room.
What did they say?
So he said, well, yeah, she music and everything, because I don't read, self-taught.
Yeah.
So he said, well, here, he gave me a pair of drumsticks, and he said, you can sit here during the intermission, but you can't play during the show. So again, figuring out who's going to be in the room on that day, opening the mic up to them to come and do your thing. I would encourage kids to like look up jokes on Google a joke. If you got a joke, come and tell us.
Oh God.
Yo, I was in the Elm Park, and the things that kids were saying. It was some of it wasn't funny, but some of it was. But you gotta give us a chance to try, There's
more. I'm trying to think of a comedian that doesn't swear. Less Cat Williams.
Yes, yeah. Well, family appropriate. Everything is family friendly.
But like who?
Yeah.
They all.
Different ways.
You know what? I'm trying to think of somebody who's funny but clean. Exactly.
I'm sorry, I can't think of it.
I'm
I'm
trying.
on the spot with this right now. Man, well,
Moving on. Yes.
so whatever it is that you do, we want to give you an opportunity to share your gift, share your talent. We're providing the stage, and for the community to just to come together, socialize in a different way, and support each other.
It's an artist's playground. I love it.
Yes.
Like just come and share your talents with others and listen to the talents of others and let's just have like a true renaissance. And believe me, I love the idea. I love everything about it. I love like, this is the incubator, right? This is like the first goal, and as you grow over the year and evolve and continue to make more relationship and things like and that, and that's the thing. And I think a lot of times people don't realize is like when you are dreaming of something bigger than you can ever imagine, it's not instant. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of sometimes tears and sacrifice. And, and one of the things people don't recognize also is that community organizer, you're not in it for the money. Because a lot of times you have to put things up, and even the things that folks are paying for, let's say for instance the vendor fee, like everything goes right back into the event or things like that. So I would say like, I'm so grateful for so many different community organizers that are here in Worcester, because it's not about well, it's about helping others understand how to build wealth, but the platform that you're choosing to use is not necessarily going to build wealth for you. It's going to build influence, it's going to build others, it's going to, and it might catapult and it might lead to something else. And I think that's a lot of times I find that people give up when they're trying to do something big and there's just obstacles and roadblocks and monetary demands, and they just, but not realizing that is going to connect you to something else that's going to make wealth flow in, that you'll be able to put that thing bigger. And I think sometimes we just don't understand how things work. And, we give up even more. So I'm so grateful that you're not giving up, that you're going to continue to push, that you're going to continue to fight. And, we're going to do that. So so you have your whole laptop and, let folks know he didn't just come because he thought I was boring. But you have a few people to thank, so I'll let you thank these people, and then, before we move on. So you have a couple of people that you said you have to thank, right?
Yes. For one, giving a land acknowledgement to the people, that we occupy their space, the indigenous, especially here in Worcester. Yes. So thank you, our ancestors who paved the way for us to be here. We appreciate you. The people who have been part of this team in development. There's been hundreds of people over time that have contributed in different ways. Well, what about this? And then, of course, my team. Shout out to Amanda Engers, who is going to be moving. We're going to be missing her. But as far as the other members of the board, Chris LMA, and then a few other people who are now committee members, if you will, who have jumped in to help out. Thank you so much. But as far as the Mass Cultural Council, on behalf of Fam Jam Event Group, we want to take a few minutes to thank Mass Cultural Council and the elected officials responsible for appropriating funds to the Mass Cultural Council, who provided a grant for the Worcester Renaissance Fair. If you know these individuals, please send them this video or tag them in the comment section below, because I would like to set up a one-to-one meeting with them. This includes State House Representative Mary S. Keefe, Senator Robin Kennedy for the Worcester and Central Mass District, Governor Mara Healey, Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, Senate President Karen Spilka, House Speaker Ronald Mariano, Senator Paul Mark, who is the Senate Chair for the Joint Committee on Tourism, Arts, and Cultural Development, as well as Representative Mindy Dome. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Now, if you all, as far as the folks that I just mentioned, if you have time, and you're all invited to check out the Worcester Renaissance Fair, happening this Saturday, April 27th, which is the first in an epic event series serving as an incubator to highlight vendors and performers who identify as Black, Hispanic, Indigenous, or other people of color as they prepare to launch their businesses in Worcester streets and parks. Participants in the event do not have to have street vending or performing as an end goal. However, each event provides an opportunity for them to present their gifts, talents, products, and services to the community. All are welcome to apply, 14 years of age or older. Events will feature family service providers and a variety of workshops covering the new street vendor and performer application process, creative entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. Vendor types encouraged to apply, including youth 14 years of age or older, are culinary creators, which are food, artisans, crafters, and a variety of other creators, family services, small businesses, college and career services, professional services, educators in the arts and entrepreneurship. The performer types encouraged to apply, including youth 14 years of age or older, are singers, rappers, poets, choirs, musicians, DJs, bands, school bands, dancers, comedians, those involved in the theater, acrobatics, animal tricks, balloon twisting, caricatures, clowning, mimes, contortions, escapology, martial artists, hypnotists, jugglers, magicians, mimes, living statues, stilt walkers, puppeteering, storytelling, cyclists, street art such as sketching or painting to music, and ventriloquism. The mission of our organization is clear: to host events that support BIPOC artists and entrepreneurs from historically redlined communities, and to bring awareness to other organizations that serve youth and families. Our vision is to make history by uniting marginalized communities to develop a culture of creative collaboration and self-sustainability. The mission of the Worcester Renaissance Project is to create easier access to rules and fees, fostering greater transparency and equity in the vendor application process. We aim to develop and assist minority street vendor and performer applicants, ensuring their placement in high foot traffic areas managed by the City of Worcester, thus increasing tourism and their chances of success. Our vision, as far as the project is concerned, is to develop, establish, and promote Worcester as the premier location in New England for ethnic minorities to start a business as a street vendor or performer, and for tourists and locals to experience what they have to offer. I want to thank all of our city and our city councilors who have supported the proposal of a contract with the City of Worcester with an agreement with the city manager that would allow us to designate these spaces with a wayfinder marker and funding at a city level and state level. We can make that happen. The last thing I want to mention is that we will be praying for our youth and families impacted by recent street violence this Saturday at 9 a.m. and the event itself starts at 12 p.m. Hopefully, we will see you there. The deadline tomorrow to apply. The deadline is tomorrow to apply.
For vendors.
For vendors and performers. And for more information, feel free to reach out at famjameventgroup@gmail.com.
All right, wonderful. And the event is free to attend.
It's free now. We're asking for a $5 donation,
Oh, that's wonderful.
but it's not required. So if a single parent or a parent with multiple, with a community,
Yeah, yeah.
with your family, you can make a donation on behalf of your family. And for those who are willing to contribute more, we have a GoFundMe up that's on social media. You can find us on Fam Jam Event Group 2024 to make a donation to our GoFundMe. Otherwise, we're looking for people to come out and just have a safe time at Elm Park Community School. Support the artists, support the entrepreneurs, and find out about any family services that we have on hand.
All right, wonderful.
Speaking of really quick, free haircuts.
Okay.
By Toka, I call them Toka.
Is it Toka Legacy?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. They're offering free haircuts. I have another young lady there. What's it called? Block braiding. She's doing braiding hair from 1 to 3 at a discounted price, but then 3 and on. It's going to be of whatever she charges, whatever she decides to charge.
All right.
But just as an example.
No, that's wonderful. There's so many things that are happening. That's amazing. So, how do they find you on Instagram? What is your social media? What's your Instagram handle?
On Instagram, it's FamJamEVTGRP.
Okay.
I do have a Snapchat and TikTok. I don't use them things.
All
I need a social media person, by the way. If you're interested in joining the team, I absolutely need the help. As you mentioned before, this is way bigger than me.
Absolutely.
So Renaissance is not just one person or a small group. It takes a collective. So I'm looking to build a team. Reach out again at famjameventgroup@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Geoff, Geoff with a G. My last name is Killebrew. KILLEBREW, and follow me on Facebook that way.
Lovely. No, you definitely need a social media person. I don't know how to break that to you, but like, you're no longer the TikTok generation.
Yeah. I'm old.
Go with
Yeah.
I can't keep up.
The reels, you gotta music with the pictures, and then like,
they are so talented.
Yeah.
Like, I need like you do. Like, you need a social media person that like really understands how to navigate, and like kudos to y'all youngins because they are so good at it. Like, and they just because it's like for me, like it takes us a long time to do a post, right? But they're like boom boom done, and you're like okay, like so yeah. If you are interested in being a part of the Fam Jam family, he's looking for somebody that's good with social media too. I think you're okay.
Yeah. Come through. It's a family thing. It's just fam as actually an acronym for Family Arts and Music. But I'm a very family oriented, and I understand that a lot of things start from home. The encouragement starts from home, and so we want to be part of the fam.
All right, lovely. So that's so fantastic. Renaissance Fair happening this Saturday at the M Park Community School. I don't quite know the address, so you mentioned it earlier, but just look it up. You'll find it. Shout out to them for, I don't know how you got that too. So shout out to them for being able to use that space. So that's fantastic. I love the idea that, you're able to do this on school grounds. So rain or shine, okay? You guys will be inside, so please make sure that you go, Mr. Geoff. And I know that. So, are you going to be? I know that when you're doing the thing, right? Like your mind is everywhere and focused on everything and doing. Are you going to be performing yourself?
No. You can catch me at church.
That's smart. No, that is smart because like when I tell you, it's just like the minute you're doing that, that's when like something's like, yo, I need you, and it's just like it gets chaotic. But no, that is fantastic. So I am looking forward to Saturday. Actually, I know you mentioned QCC a few times. Shout them out. They are, I love them. They're having an event, the alumni basketball game. Baseball. Lord. Baseball this Saturday, so I'll be there, and I'm trying to like, so I'm like, because I want to see the artists and the creatives and the vendors and all that. So I'm looking. Don't worry about the address.
You know that's what I'm looking for, right?
I'm looking for. Yeah, look it up. Every single one of y'all has a smartphone.
It's 23 North Ashland Street in Worcester, Mass. 23 North Ashland on the corner of North Ashland and John Street, right behind the Boynton. So if you know where Highland Street is, it's in the cut over there.
Okay, cool. He found it.
Yes.
Like just like Google. I'm like everything's like Google. So I have a Google Home. So everything's like Google. Whereas what's this like? What's that? But listen, thank you so much. For coming on. I'm looking forward to multiple future events. From you. So I know that the event is this Saturday. You've extended the deadline for vendors to apply through tomorrow. They can connect with you, via social media and all that. But what other avenues of opportunity? Always donate. Money is always needed, especially with a nonprofit. So donate, like nothing. Listen, if you have $1 and that's all you have, I always say to people, listen, don't knock it, because if that's you have and you genuinely give in a place of just wanting to help, don't say I don't have enough, because he said, I love offering the $5. That came from church. Yeah. Done if you love offering, but just anything. And if you have the ability to do more, please, absolutely. We want to make sure that the more events like this are happening in the community. But what else can folks do to support? Because today's Wednesday, it's on Saturday. I think sharing on social media, things like that. Resharing your post, tagging, engaging. What else can folks do to, help?
I'll take some volunteers for the day. If you show up early, at 10 is when we set up. Going forward, the next event is slated for June 29th. I know there's some folks who are busy this weekend, they couldn't make it, but we're looking for, again, to create a roster of these performers in the area, of vendors or people who are aspiring entrepreneurs. Prepare your gift to share. You got another 2 months after this.
Saturday, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll be at the same location, with the success of this event. And otherwise, as we were proposing this project to City Hall, if you're available on just watch out for the dates when petitions what maybe had, and we're encouraging people to engage in the civic process, so that hopefully we can persuade the city manager to come to an agreement, to have a conversation about how we can launch this together.
Okay.
It's much bigger and than Worcester by nature of bringing folks together. People are going to be coming from other areas. Matter of fact, a friend of mine introduced me to the mayor of.
Yeah, I saw you at the ball. Saw you at Fitchburg Mayor's Ball.
Yes.
That was awesome. That was really great to see.
Yes,
That
so
was
thank you
lovely.
for connections that are being made, and they're like, no, if Worcester doesn't want it, then Fitchburg does. So we're hoping to show proof of concept here in Worcester. So hopefully we can have that conversation at the with the city manager to push this forward and bring this to fruition.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you have both. I hope you have both Worcester and Fitchburg and different communities throughout.
Yes.
So, because this is bigger than you.
Yes,
This is so needed, and just it's going to take partnership and collaboration
Yes.
and all of that. And folks, if you have a skill set that you want to share, join in. I think that's how we get bigger, right?
Right.
Because there's so many people that have ideas that we possibly didn't think of, right?
Mhm.
That can elevate
Exactly.
to the next level, and that's the thing: constantly growing and elevating and thinking.
Creative collaboration. Think outside the box.
Mhm.
I mean, what hasn't been done?
Exactly.
Try different things.
Different age group. Listen, different age group. Like don't negate the wisdom of those that are older than you, and then the skill sets
Or
that
the
are
next
younger than you.
right.
Because I mean. Exactly. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show. I'm grateful that you were able to. You were free today. I know you probably have a stacked day ahead of you.
Oh yeah, more meetings, more emails and calls, and one thing is pedal to the metal. It's not done until it's done.
No, not at all. It's Saturday, right? So believe me, leading up to an event is always so hectic and just trying to dot and cross everything.
But one thing I realized that it may not come out. My dad told me, with things in life, it may not come out. It may not work out how you want it, but it's going to work out. You know what I mean? So I'm trying not to stress too much about it. Just do what I can with the team that I have, and it's going to be what's going to be.
Listen, it will come out better. I promise you. Like it never does. So I'll tell you. In March, I had an event called I Got You Sis Summit. So I've always been fascinated by the idea of, doing events about women, connecting with each other. And I will tell you, like on the day off when I was supposed to pick up the program, I went to Staples to pick it up, and then they're like, "Oh, we're getting it tomorrow." I'm like, "Getting what tomorrow?" And it was they're like, the guy put the wrong date on it. So when the guy said, so when we went over to the manager, she was like, "Oh, she'll get it tomorrow." And so I was like, by the grace of God, I said, I appreciate that, but the event is today, so I kind of need the program today. So it worked out. I got it like they had to do a rush and whatever, and it came out beautifully. But sometimes something will happen. Like what I learned is don't leave the program to the day off.
There's that one.
Because I always leave it because there's always last minute tweaks, right? And that's why. But anyway, I learned from that. But you know what? And there's certain things that worked out differently than I wanted. And I didn't say, I won't call it better or worse, it just worked out differently. But a lot of times the things that we see is not what the others see. It's not what the attention
in my head, everybody else is like, wow, this is great.
And you're like, oh my God, I didn't put the T on the door and I wanted everybody to see a T when it came in because it represents this. So don't worry, things can go great. Thank you so much. I'm going to say goodbye to the audience. So just, I'm going to, I'll give you the last words, so think of what we want to say in the last 30 seconds, just to encourage entrepreneurs, artists, performers, or anyone who wants to do something different and they're facing all these obstacles. So you have 30 seconds to do that, but I have 30 seconds to do this. So you have 30 seconds, my friend. So let me say goodbye and then you get to say it.
All
right, wonderful. So thank you for tuning in. I had in the studio with me today Mr. Geoff Killebrew from Fam Jam Event Planning. Renaissance Fair is coming up this Saturday. Make sure that you tune in, that you know everything that is happening. I am so grateful every single day that I have this platform, that I'm able to highlight phenomenal people and the work that they're doing. And the Renaissance Fair is going to be huge. It's bigger than Geoff, and it is bigger than Worcester. So let's help a brother out. All right, let's do this. Thank you too.
Hello, brother.
brother out. So thank you to all my loyal subscribers and viewers. I appreciate you. Please share your feedback. Let me know if you desire to be a guest or if you'd like to recommend a guest. The goal is to inspire, motivate, and empower. Thank you as always to Paul Anderson, our executive producer, for making the magic happen week after week. I already called out my lovely shoe gifts. Yes, I do like shoes. Miss Angel, we appreciate you. And until next time, because we do have a brand new show this Friday, today at 5. So I'm going to turn it over to Geoff, who's going to wrap us up.
Prepare your gift to share. That's it.
That's it. Bye-bye.